Okay.
Everyone thinks of Slammer Bro, but everyone thinks of Slammer Bro. How could you not think of it?
I see a good side in the dude. He tried to take Spidey. But that's just me. I'm a good person. I'll
Bro,
try to do
I swear hippies start tripping up, mate. They're like, wait up. When you reverse shift, they're like, oh, hold on. Hold on. Let me smoke another bowl. I see good in him. No, there is good in Ed Gein. There is good in Jeffrey Dahmer. I can see the good sides of them.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I choose to see the good in him. You choose to see the bad in him, which is a reflection of you. And also a reflection of me.
Oh, it's too much. Holy shit, Bluey. I never know what I'm going to get with you. Wait, 1 minute it's lawns, next minute we're fighting. Oh, wow.
Yeah, well, I just finished at the gym, dude. Are you going to go back to the, what do you call it, elliptical? When was your next elliptical?
Yeah, I did 9Ks yesterday.
You see, the underdog story is the realest story there is. Because when you come from nothing, you appreciate everything. You hustle different. You love different. And you lead different.
G'day, Jason.
Today, I want you to do.
I hope you're happy, healthy and well, mate.
Stay humble.
I hope you're cracking away today, mate, kicking little goals.
Stay humble. Keep that fire in your
I'm just making some dreads, man.
Being an underdog is to have nobody.
I thought I'll knock off this bit of material and
People have no choice.
get a couple of Corys done.
And the word impossible is possible. Underdogs,
It's better than doing nothing.
they earn respect and therefore get respected for life. And the word impossible is possible.
Man, if you're an underdog, man, the beauty of being someone who has to go through struggle, because you get that. If there's no struggle, that's the thing. If there's no struggle, then it's nothing. There's no journey. There's no journey. You get to make that magic. You get to be the story.
You see, the underdog story is the realest story there is. Because when you come from nothing, you appreciate.
When scientists examine earthquakes, they focus on two factors: tectonic stress.
So the problem with democracy is the governments, first thing they do is try and take over the educational system. And once they take over the educational system, they don't teach you any principles that would limit the expansion of power. They don't teach you about economics. They don't teach you about the law. They don't teach you about government, really. And they certainly don't teach you anything about freedom. They don't teach you about the true nature of the state, the one thing that differentiates it from all other social entities, that it has the legal obligation to initiate the use of force. This is something presidents from George Washington to Barack Obama have talked about, so don't shoot the messenger, literally, please. So when the government take over the educational system, they will fill you full of nonsense, propaganda, and garbage, like smallpox blankets. We'll get to that in a sec, because I've been having that debate on X. So that's the one thing. You just won't get any information that's useful to you as a voter. What is it that they say? Hey, is there any way that public school can teach me anything about the economy, or how money works, or interest rates, or how to do my taxes, how to fill out a job application? No! So the problem with democracy is the governments, first thing they do is try and take over the educational system. And once they take over the educational system, they don't teach you any principles that would limit the expansion of power. They don't teach you about economics. They don't teach you about the law. They don't teach you about government, really. And they certainly don't teach you anything about freedom. They don't teach you about the true nature of the state, the one thing that differentiates it from all other social entities, that it has the legal obligation to initiate the use of force. This is something that presidents from George Washington to Barack Obama have talked about, so don't shoot the messenger, literally, please. So, when the governments take over the educational system, they will fill you full of nonsense, propaganda, and garbage, like smallpox blankets. You know, we'll get to that in a second, because I've been having that debate on X.
Yeah.
So, that's the one thing. You just won't get any information that's useful to you as a voter. You know, what is it that they say, hey, is there any way that public school can teach me anything about the economy or how money works?
I think Aussie punters are starting to realise that we've been, after a long 4 years and 3 months, Dave has finally announced his third album is coming out in 23 days, bro. Dave's third album's coming out in 3 weeks. Pinch yourself, this shit's real, it's happening. Now the album's...
So if the waters weren't muddied before, they're bloody dirty now. So we're back on the little Gus Lamont case. Look, let's have a look. So little boy has gone missing. We're 2 weeks out and we're still searching. So this is Jason O'Connell. Now he has said that he is a friend of the father's.
How you doing, Braz? How you doing, Dad? Hope you're well, man. Stay on your path.
He knows the land. He's also said that he spent 20 years in the SES. Now I went looking and searching, and other news reporters have reported that he stated 11 years in the SES. So that's a bit of a big stretch if you're going from 11 years to 20 years. Now this is a fellow that has come out saying absolutely there are no wild animals. There are no wedge-tailed birds, there's no pigs, there's no dingoes, there's no wild dogs, and there are no foxes. And they would not take him, and they would not attack him, and they probably, if they had gone down for a bit of a look around little Gus's body, there would be evidence of it, and rightly so. But then we get ex-homicide detective Charlie Bazina. Now he's quite famous here in Australia. You know him. He's done a lot of missing cases, cold cases in Australia. And he said on A Current Affair tonight that there are wild animals. There are dingoes. There are dogs. There are large birds of prey. And there are foxes. So again, why is it being muddied, and why is one thing being said from somebody who knows the land 100%, and then someone who does not live on the land is saying, well, no, there are animals there.
Have you heard about the fake Israeli propagandist social media influencers? These D-bags right here, especially this one right here, so I know personally, check this shit out. His name's Jeremy Abramson. I actually know him from Miami. I used to live there. He actually lived with me for a little while before I knew about all this kind of bullshit and like what a scumbag he is. Actually is a scumbag. He crashed my car in a parking garage and it was a total pain in the ass to pay for. Shocker. And check this shit out. So I saw him online. He actually blocked me in my personal account a while ago because I was calling out this shit on Instagram. And on my other company account, my Aurea page, I just had to go check out, see what he was up to lately because I knew it was going to be some shenanigan bullshit. So this video right here, which you'll see here in a second, is a clip from it, which is just like, wow, so perfect. He's saying that all of the supplies not getting to Gaza are Hamas's fault, and that all of this food and supplies behind him are being held up by Hamas. Now, think about this, which is so absurd and hilarious that he didn't even like think to do this, or like think that he didn't think it would be so obvious that like if he's walking around in this supply zone held by Hamas, wouldn't Hamas be there? No. Or yes, of course. Is he really there? No. He's in fucking Tel Aviv, and these are supplies being held in Tel Aviv by the Israelis. So give me a fucking break, man. Jeremy, you suck so hard, and like, oof, mwah, what a beautiful image right there. And this fucking guy. So here, check this video out, and you're gonna see exactly what I mean. In So let's just say change his name to whatever. Let's change his name to something sexy like Boaz. You marry Boaz, and Boaz is matching your flow. Boaz is a $110,000 insurance salesperson.
Okay.
All right, he's doing his thing. Woo! You and Boaz got Boaz Jr. And then your daughter turns 14, 15 years old. You and Boaz have been 5 years. And then one day you come home and your daughter's in tears and say, "What's wrong, baby?" "Boaz touched me." Boaz is dead. Anything that Boaz, you ain't gonna do, first thing you're gonna do is fuck Boaz, fuck my kid, fuck everything else. What you do to my daughter, you gotta deal with your ex-husband or your baby daddy, because she gonna tell his daddy. Boaz has being a stepfather to a daughter in the Me Too generation, it's asking for a lot.
I just skip around.
Trust me, which is why
There's no
when
channel.
she was
I just.
born, I literally
This is
said,
Kevin
"I ain't
Samuels.
I said, fuck it.
I
I
lied.
said, I'm going to wait till she 18. But
Just
now,
flip through it.
I would like a companion, so...
I know what you would like now, but the thing is, you have to ask yourself, what
This
am
is the
I
shit I listen to
asking
all day. And people wonder why I've got that attitude. This is the kind of shit that Lord Dobby listens to all day. It's all single mum shit. That's how I learnt a lot of this stuff. That's how I learned a lot of it. I didn't know anything about it. I knew nothing about... I knew that they play games and stuff. I had plenty of girlfriends. But I never understood, the capacity of it, and the mindset. I never understood that. Not until I watched this stuff, and then I'd stand. And then what happened to me with the last one, which was just a perfect example. And then I understood, you know what I mean? And then I looked around me and watched all the people around me. And, I've got friends with really good wives. I have. I've got friends that have been with their wives forever. Rich, poor, up, down, good, bad. They've stuck together, So I had good things around me. So I'd be looking at them and then look at mine. And then I'd ask him, I'd ask him, and I would ask her. And I would try and invite them over to try and, but completely rejected it. Utterly rejected it. Just called them all a bunch of names and put them down, and I told them not to talk like that about my friends. It's unnecessary to be nasty and mean, and to act the way you are is just unnecessary. The person has not been mean to you at all. She has been very, very nice to you and is trying to make friends with you and is trying to make conversation with you, and you are just being rude. Very, very rude. And in my culture, according to your culture, you're acting perfectly fine. So it didn't go down well. And that's where I learnt things, man. The female nature. And no accountability, just none, absolutely none. I didn't understand. Because I thought everybody has accountability. I've been accountable since I was, 17 years old on the street with a bag. So that was my era of growing up. Okay, you turned a certain age and then they kicked you out, mate. They put your bags on the door and you were out of there. You understand? Understand? There is no choice in the matter. There's no talky about it. Okay, you just they pack your bags. Your parents will pack your bags for you and tell you it's time for you to go. Go and find somewhere to live. Go and find a life. Rah. So that's what they do, mate. Nowadays they don't, of course. The parents are all very nice, and we've got grown men at age 35 and 40 living at home with mum and dad. I could not imagine a worse husband than that. Ladies, I feel sorry for you, whoever marries these people. I feel sorry for you. because they've done nothing their entire life, and their mama has done everything for them. So if you marry these men, they're going to be like a man baby. You know, you're going to have to do everything for them, everything. They're not capable of doing anything because their mama and dada have done everything for them their whole life. You know, the mum's done the cleaning, the cooking, made his bed. He's 35 years old, bro. He's never paid rent. Don't forget that, he's never paid rent. He's never paid rent in his life. So he's going to find that really difficult to pay rent. You know, in his mind, oh, why should I pay it? You know, I'm going to save for my own house and all that kind of shit. You know, that could take fucking 20 years. Like, seriously, today's thing, you know, to buy a house is not the same as 15 years ago. It's not the same as 10 years ago. It's just not. There's no more $300,000 houses, mate, you know, sitting on big land, you know, enough land to put another house out the back. There's no properties like that, man. Yeah, that's where I learnt the human nature, female nature.
But I think we're getting very close to the collapse of basically everything. The economy, the financial markets, everything. And that, if you didn't know, if you're watching me for like 5 years, like, oh, you actually do a financial newsletter? Yeah, we do. It's called The Dollar Vigilante. It's actually awesome. And especially when you look around at all the numbers and stuff. Like, for example, Wall Street Ape said, I just looked this up and it's true. Healthcare premiums for Americans making over $80,000 per year are set to triple beginning of the year. This would make the average cost about $20,000 per year just for premiums. Do you have healthcare? I don't have healthcare. They're saying the healthcare prices are about to triple. For an $80,000 salary for a couple, right under $20,000 is going to be the new cost for a year. Divide that by 12. They're saying that the prices are tripling and going up because just like me, you guys are also canceling healthcare. We've learned through the last 18 months, it's cheaper to just pay cash prices. And if you have healthcare, they don't allow you to pay cash prices. So for the small percentage of people who are still insured,
Understand?
no. Because at the end of the day, it's a profit over people. $20,000 per year. I thought
No paper.
family, but even that's a massive
You know,
amount.
I'm economically declined at the moment. Economically declined. So
I need stitches. Your bill will be $67,000. In Canada, I need stitches.
It's only early in the morning, man. What time is it?
Per year
It's 11 o'clock.
for health insurance for the rest of your life. So you're talking millions of dollars just in case you have to go to the hospital, which you should never go to the hospital. And we have plasma. Plasma's back. No, let's talk about it. It cures basically everything. Their health insurance is going to be like tripling in the next year. Most people are going to go bankrupt just from that alone. And their insurance premiums are going to $20,000 per year. Just FYI, for a machine that basically cures everything. Of course, it doesn't necessarily cure everything, not instantly, all that kind of disclaimers. What we've seen, go to their site, there's hundreds of people who have cured almost everything with it. Sometimes within an hour, sometimes within a week, sometimes within a month or two. But almost always cures them. So people are going to be paying $20,000 per year for the health insurance when you can get a machine and the total cost is $11,000. But I think we're getting very close to the collapse. To reverse the normal process of trash disposal, you know, instead of taking all this garbage to the dump and go to the dump and bring it into his house, it was just this incredible chaos of trash and garbage. But there was more than just household waste. Amid all that wreckage, they discovered these incomprehensible, unspeakably awful objects that had been fashioned out of human body
the habitation of a literal ghoul, somebody who had been living amidst these horrific relics of human dismemberment. It was a madhouse.
Gein's fascination with death and corpses had been growing ever since his mother had died 12 years previously.
Ed had always enjoyed reading. It was quite a solitary pursuit, so that's not particularly surprising. But after the death of his mother and his brother, he started to read an awful lot more, and his tastes in literature really did span quite a wide spectrum. He read pornographic magazines, he read medical textbooks, and he developed a particular interest in Ilsa Koch, who worked at one of the Nazi concentration camps and collected patches of skin of the prisoners who were detained there. And I think all of this was fueling a very active imagination. So he's developing these obsessions and these interests, and he's quite skilled as a farmhand at this point in time. He knows how to slaughter animals, he knows how to prepare carcasses. He's from a community that's very much into its hunting and its fishing. So at some point, reality and fantasy are going to collide.
As the search of the farmhouse progressed, officers found that the grotesque collection of body parts became even more disturbing.
Among the most hideous of all the items were human skin masks that were hanging from the wall of his bedroom, the faces of women that had been flayed from the skulls and that had been preserved. Some of them had lipstick applied to them and that had been hung on the walls as decorations. And then, most notoriously, there was a skin suit that it had crafted out of the upper torso of a woman and the leggings of a woman. And apparently, as he later confessed, he would put on this skin suit and put on one of the female skin masks and caper around in his yard, pretending to be his mother.
Gein's macabre collection had been acquired from the very same cemetery where his mother's body lay.
2 years after the death of his mother in 1947, he starts grave robbing. So he's going into a local burial ground, he's digging up bodies, and he's taking things from the bodies. Now, he's not taking material or items of any value, he's actually taking body parts. It really is an absolute house of horrors. So what started off as an interest, which was confined to the pages of a book, has now become a reality behind the doors of this rather bizarre house. So what he's doing in a really grotesque way is trying to bring his mother back to life in some way, shape or form, because he was so dependent upon her for a sense of his own identity.
He reversed the normal process of trash disposal.
What the hell is this? Sabe, no paper de free. Hey, that's tomato. I said no tomato. Who put the tomato? I put the tomato. What?
So I had a man today ask me if I was ready for a serious relationship. So to answer that, my aunt suggested this. To start to say, yeah, I'm serious. I'm serious for somebody to take care of my mortgage. I'm serious for someone to take me on vacation. I'm serious about meeting someone that wants to pay a car note and my insurance, that wants to pay my phone bill, my electricity, my internet, that wants to pay for me to get my hair, nails, and lashes done when I want to get them done. Seriously ready for somebody to put gas in my car every Sunday. I'm seriously ready for somebody that, wants to be a stepdaddy, or a real daddy these days. I don't believe in step. I'm seriously ready for a man that doesn't want other men, because that's a Houston thing. someone to come in and actually be that HNIC that I need for him to be.
Nah, see, they try to make it seem like it's glorious to get used, and that's not the play no more. And guys are smart. They're very, very smart. Like, you can't even run this play if you are the baddest chick. If you are a Los Angeles 10 or a Miami 10, you can't run this play no more. Because guys is woke up. So, of course, there's going to be some stuff. But she started
Hello,
throwing
Zeddy.
extra stuff in. And
I haven't seen you for ages, man. I hope you're well.
Biggest red flag was,
And I hope you're hot as fuck. I hope when you walk outside, mate, your balls fucking burn, okay? That's what I reckon. I'm going to stay right here where it's nice and cool and I can walk outside and it's nice and comfortable, okay? I don't want to be going where you can't even walk outside. It's like boom, fucking heat. Just fucking, yeah, no, I can't stand that, man. You can sit up there in that fucking heat, mate. I'm not sitting up there in that fucking heat. I don't give a fuck. It's just too hot for me, man. Climatise. Fuck climatising, bro. I'm fucking moving. I'm fuck climatising to this fucking... This is fucking a nightmare. Yeah, no, I can't do it, man. Making dreads, mate. We're doing the apartment masks. Yeah, apartment masks. I thought, fuck it, man. I might as well film myself. They think I'm all crazy. They've got all this picture about me, you know. In reality, man, we're just a normal fucking bloke who had to work out a lot of bullshit. You know, a lot of crap. And of course, it's my fault. I've got to remind myself of that constantly. You know, it's absolutely all my fault. You will be held accountable for everything. Absolutely everything. And if not, they'll just create it. They'll just create it. They will lie. They will lie to get what they want. Get what they want, they will fuck. I never knew that, man. That's something new that I've learned. You know, they can't rely on the truth. They can't rely on any kind of accountability or anything like that. It's your fault, whatever it is. And if it doesn't work on that, whatever, they just create a storyline to go along with it, to suit it. You cannot win because they can just create more whatever they want. They can just say whatever the fuck they want. And I'm accountable for it. Like, how does that work? You know, you did this, you did this, you did this, you did that, you said this, you said that. Now, you're accountable to me. You need to, and you're standing there going, but what world do you live in? You get to accuse someone and they're accountable, you're not. I don't know, man. I've learned so much about women's nature, mate. I never understood.
What I'm looking for, I've got a turn in a man as a 29-year-old woman who is a single mom and a widow. This is just my opinion and how I feel, so just remember that when you're listening to this. Of course, I want someone respectful, kind, smart, someone that believes in God.
I'm soft. I don't like the heat.
Whether it's like a food server, a bartender, any of that, I just don't want that for my life. I don't want to be stuck in Vegas forever. I would prefer somebody that has hair on their head. Somebody that has a good set of hair. Somebody that is good with kids, that likes kids, because I'm a mom. So if you do not like kids, we're not going to work. If you don't understand
Make some
the work that
dreads,
goes
mate.
into being a mom with kids, then we're not going to work. I fear men just think like they're animals and we can just lock them up in their room and just, you know, like hang out, but that's not how it works, okay? So that's important. You need to have a car, and I used to say like I would prefer that they had a house, but they don't necessarily have to have a house, but you have to have something, like be able to provide for yourself. loves to work out and do that sort of thing. I like to take care of myself in that way, so I would prefer somebody that's on that same level. I also would prefer somebody that does not smoke tree. I have nothing against it, and occasional use is okay, but I do not want to be with somebody that cannot go hours without it. It's just not going to happen, not for me. Same with any substance, actually, so that goes for all substances. Somebody that has a good relationship with their mother. I feel like that's just a telltale sign of the type of person they are. I also would prefer somebody that is handy, that can use tools, that can do that sort of stuff, because I've been doing it by myself. I would prefer not to have to hang up a TV. If you could hang up a TV or build something, that would be great. I would love that. I'm not needing Bob the Builder, but you need to have some skills with tools. I'm sorry. I would prefer somebody that is 5'11" or taller.
I've got to make a core.
I don't know, my husband
That's what
is
I'm doing
5'11", so
each
I would
time.
like
I'm
that to
making
be
a core
the
of
same
rubber
or
inside.
taller. You need to have a job. If you don't have a job, don't even talk to me.
So that way
I
when
will
you
not
put it
date
into the
somebody
mask,
that
it sits
has to go
out.
out all the time. If you are constantly
And
out
this is the part that
working
goes in the
or
mask,
feel the need to do that,
in case you were wondering.
no. I already said this, but somebody that believes in God, I have to be with somebody that knows he's real, that is God-fearing, because I will not be the one to try and convince you that God is real. What I'm looking for in a man as a 29-year-old woman who is a single mom.
Oh, no one cares what you're interested in. Nobody cares what you want. God. Imagine meeting some of these women, mate, and they've already got what they want in their mind, right? And all they want you to do is do what they want, their plan. They've already got a plan. They've already got what they want in their mind, what they want, right? So the entire relationship with that person is them trying to wrangle you to all of these things that they've got in their mind that's on the list. And basically, there's a perfect example. You know, I want to meet a husband, but he's got to have this, he's got to do this, he's got to do that. You know, the guy that she's met, he doesn't have those expectations. You know what I mean? And if he does, well, it's not going to matter anyway, because it's you know, your expectations don't really matter. It's only what her expectations are, what she's wanting out of it. You know, what can you do for her today? Not what you've already done, but what can you do for her today? Yeah. That's what I've learnt, man. Well, that's what I've been told. Yeah. And don't forget, mate, you're a crazy man if you know any of this stuff. You can't say anything because you're a crazy guy. That's what they put, that's the label they give you. Because you're not going to just sit there believing everything they say to you, man. Like I did the first time round, you know. I believed all of their bullshit, yeah. And I'm just telling you, man, that they can fill your bullshit tray up every single day. They have a load of fucking bullshit tray for you. And they can invent things from out of nowhere. You know what I mean? And you'll be sitting there and someone is questioning you about shit you've never heard of. You know, like you did this, and you did that. No, I didn't. I didn't do any of that. What are you talking about? That's the first time I've ever heard of it. Oh, yes, you did. They completely cut you off and deny you, and then they tell you what you've done. And you just sit there and because they've already been filled up, and your word means nothing. Your word means nothing. The other part of words mean absolutely everything. They would never lie, you know what I mean? Only you lie because you're a man. Only you lie. It's incredible. And it doesn't matter how you try and defend yourself. It doesn't matter. You're guilty. There is no proof needed. There's nothing. There's nothing at all. I've never done. This is incredible. You know, this is my last contact. This is my last thing. Other than that, I do not know what the hell you're talking about. Like if you could mention something before that date, great. But if you want to go talking and it's fucking years later or whatever that I've done this and you're dreaming, man. You're plucking things out of there, you know. But it doesn't really matter. That's all they've got to do. You know, and then you offend one of these people with pronouns, you offend them or whatever because of what I say. I offend everybody, and that's it. They you know, they don't like it when you say, no, I didn't do that. I don't know what you're talking about. You know, like, they don't like that. They don't like that at all. You know, they'll say to you, no, if you've got a picture of this on your phone, rah, rah, okay, here it is. Call them. Call them. You know, you want to tell me you're going to call the police because I've got a picture of my daughter on my phone? Call them. All right? I am not the kind of person anymore that's going to sit there and take your threats and sit there and take your, and not call you out. I've done that for years. For years I sat there just getting accused of all this fucking stuff. I don't even, you know, and at the end of the day, it's like trying to make a peace deal with Israel. Okay? It's like trying to make a peace deal with Israel. They'll agree with everything and anything, and as soon as you walk out of the court, it's back to doing whatever they want to fucking do. Okay? So it doesn't matter what the fuck you agree on. It doesn't matter if you were the best bloke in the world. It wouldn't matter. Don't you understand that? You could have A plus written next to your name, and it's not going to change anything. Nothing. They're just going to try and keep finding something to have on you. It'll never change. It doesn't matter how good you are or what you do or what courses you pass or, you know, what you do to prove, because you've got to prove everything as a man, as a dad. You've got to prove everything. Prove it. You've got to prove it. Don't you understand that? You're not automatically, you know, the other side doesn't have to prove anything. That's why I make a point about it. The other side doesn't have to prove anything. They can just ignore everything. Just ignore it. They can ignore everything, and they're protected. They are absolutely protected. It's not even mentioned. It's just put back on you. It's your fault, you know, rah, 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 rah. And you're just sitting there thinking, how in the fuck is it my fault? I've had no thing at all, and it's my fault. It's my, like, okay, it's my fault. It's my fault. Again, you know, it's my fault. Yeah, okay. And then they want to paint you, and they like painting you. They all do it, blows. They all do it. There is no ex-wife or ex-girlfriend, mate, that's going to say you're a good guy. Okay? It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. They don't play that way. Women don't play that way. Okay? There is no ex-wife or ex-girlfriend that's going to say that you are just the most brilliant guy in the world and you a great husband or great boyfriend. And you never did this, or you never yelled at me, you always were nice to me and stuff like that. You're never going to find a single one that's going to say that. You know, every single one you break up with, that breaks up with you, they are all going to call you an abuser. You know, all of the things that they call you, that's all of us. Every single man. Every single one. You could have spent your entire time being a yes man, and you did nothing but try and just whatever this person demanded you do. And you never, you know, you never touched the person at all, mate. You never yelled at her, you never screamed at her, it was only right at the end that you got upset, and, you know, that's the only time you ever raised your voice, really. But there is nobody, mate, you're never going to find an ex-girlfriend or an ex-wife that says you're a good guy. It doesn't exist, okay? It doesn't exist. There's got to be somebody to blame. There's got to be. You know, it's never their fault. It's always, you know, because you did this and you did that and rah, rah. And you just shake your head, man. And the whole idea is that you never see, you know, if you have children with them, you never see your kids. That's the whole idea of it. It's just a mouse wheel. They get you onto the mouse wheel, and you'll spend fucking years trying to defend yourself, and the whole time you never see your children. You have no contact with your children at all. But it is your fault, and you're there, and for whatever's going on in their life, it'll be your fault. Okay? So that's what I've learned.
First time in history. This is the first time ever that a majority of Americans now side with or sympathize more with the Palestinians than they do with Israel. A majority of Americans sympathize more and feel more connected to the Palestinians than they do to Israel.
I wonder why.
It's impossible to oversee how stunning that is. If you had told me that was going to happen,
Words and actions, my fault. Yeah, it's my fault, yeah. I found that it's my fault.
Whatever it is, it's my fault. You know, I did this, I did that, rah, 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 rah. And it's been 4 years.
4 years. And it's been, what? It's been 8 years or something.
Since you had anything to do with this person. It's been that long. Okay, maybe longer.
Maybe longer.
No more than hello. That's it. No more than that. You know, it's completely ignore now. Complete ignore.
And it'll be your fault. Whatever goes wrong in their life, mate, is your fault.
And they never look around and see what they had or what they have or what they don't have or what they're missing, and that doesn't exist. You know, I get sick of just being the one that's always at fault. Like, always.
You know what I mean? Like, always.
The mainstream media in the West, the argument is that Israel has won all these victories. It's in a terrific position now to stop the war because it's on top. I actually believe that's not true. I don't believe Israel's on top, and I could make, I believe, a very comprehensive and convincing argument that Israel is in real trouble militarily. And I think that Netanyahu understands this. And I think that Netanyahu understands that once the fighting stops, people will recognize that all of this killing, all of this death has not produced very much at all. And that, I think, incentivizes him to continue the war, that he can pull his chestnuts and Israel's chestnuts out of the fire. But I think he's delusional on that front.
Right. Well, can you expand on the military failures that they've been creating?
Well, I mean, one of the things you hear,
The mantra they live by, of course, is brown people bad, white people good. It is indisputable that Netanyahu is the most hated person on the planet. Even his own people hate him. This is further evidenced, of course, by the merciless jeering and booing over the weekend at the mentioning of his name. And while the world hates this genocidal maniac, it is hard to fathom how here in Australia, some on the right of the political class seem to revere him as some type of
wartime hero. Now, we all know the Liberals are devoid of any real ability to think like normal human beings. The mantra they live by, of course, is brown people bad, white people good. So it comes as no surprise that they are part of the genocide cheer squad. What is interesting, though, is that one side supports what has been declared a genocide by the ICJ and the United Nations, but the other side, while maybe admitting it in private, are too afraid to call it out for what it is in public. And amidst all of that, you've got the media gaslighting and obfuscating ad nauseum. So the Liberals applaud Netanyahu, but at the same time they're calling Putin's invasion of Ukraine illegal, immoral, and are calling for his arrest. Yet Suzanne Lane and Michaelia Cash have previously stated that Netanyahu would be welcomed by the coalition if he ever visited Australia. So I suppose the difference here is that the devil is slaughtering brown people and not white people, so it's okay. It should be the bipartisan position of the Australian Parliament that Netanyahu and his entire cabinet of genocidal war criminals are arrested, dragged to The Hague, and held accountable for their actions. The mantra they live by, of course, is brown people bad, white people good.
Allow me now to show you 5 maps. The first one is historic Palestine. This is the territory over which the Palestinian people should have been able to exercise their right to self-determination. Instead, the General Assembly recommended the partition of Palestine, ignoring the will of our people, as shown in the second map. With the Nakba that ensued, over 2/3 of our people were systematically and forcibly expelled by Israel, and 3/4 of Palestine became Israel, as shown in the third map. This was the start of the Nakba, the dispossession, the displacement and replacement of our people, of rights and discrimination that continues to this very day. In 1967, Israel then occupied the remainder of Palestine, and from the first day of its occupation, started colonizing and annexing the land with the aim of making its occupation irreversible. It left us with a collection of disconnected Bantustans, preventing the independence of our state, as shown in map 4. Israel wanted the geography of Palestine, but not its demography. So it kept pushing our people out of their homes, out of their land. Here is the 5th map. It was displayed by Israel's Prime Minister to the General Assembly last September. He called this the new Middle East. There is no Palestine at all on this map. Only Israel, comprised of all the land from the Jordan River to the Mediterranean Sea. This shows you what the prolonged, continuous Israeli occupation of Palestine is intended to accomplish. Allow me now.
Hello? Hello. Who's this? Is this Mo's mom? Why do you people call him that? Yes, I am his mother. Who are you?
I'm Melanie. I was just calling because I wanted to ask for his hand in marriage.
Sure? What? Ask for his hand in what? Hand in marriage?
Yeah, I'm just so in love that I want to propose.
Wait, Melanie, please tell me. Are you a woman?
Yeah, I'm a woman.
Oh my God. Ruhaida, what is this generation? Women asking for hand in marriage?
I'm a feminist.
Sure? What is that? Is that your job?
No, it's like men and women are equal.
I don't even know what you are saying. Why you want to marry my son? He's broke, no money.
I don't really care about that stuff. I love him.
Yes, he's stupid girl. He
Good
smells
morning,
like
mate.
shit.
Hope you're good.
What do you mean you don't care?
Hope you're happy, wealthy, and well, mate.
Your kids will starve. Wallah, Melody, don't do this. Yani, wallah, you cannot feed your kids.
Not much rah.
When did you meet him? Few months
Not much rah-rah, mate. Just fucking kick it around.
Making dreads, mate.
Reincarnation, there are 1 month, you will ask lawyers for hands in divorce papers. Trust me, nobody wants to give me as...
Everybody calls me crazy when I say a synagogue of reptilians, or when I bring up the fact that, yes, shape-shifting reptilians are biblical. The Bible starts with a shape-shifting, deceptive reptilian.
Fucking reptilians and fucking alien bullshit, mate. Fucking hell. Reptilians. We've got reptilians, have we? Fucking idiots.
Imagine waking up tomorrow and realizing you need government permission just to buy
Yes, I need-
groceries,
no.
fill your gas tank,
No.
or even access your own money. Sounds like
No.
science fiction, right? But it's the very real path.
You
that
ask, I answer you.
systems are
No.
pushing us toward.
No, mate, no.
Once introduced,
I don't know what the fuck I'm going to
easier,
do, to be honest.
make life
I haven't thought about it.
And
That's why I tried to get a loaf of bread.
when it's
I thought
free,
I could make a couple of sandwiches at
and
least,
once
you know.
freedoms are handed over,
I'll go back down, mate, and get a loaf of Sunblessed. That was $4.10.
first got a
So
social security number.
I've got that
It was
covered.
supposed to be just for retirement benefits, nothing more. They even
No
printed
masks, man.
for identification purposes.
So I've got
the cards.
Lord Dobb 79.
What
You can
happened
see
over
for
the
yourself.
decades, slowly, quietly,
We've got plenty of watches.
everything. Your credit, your healthcare,
So I figure I'll knock 2 more Corys out, mate. I'll knock 2 more Corys out, fucking.
program became the foundation of a surveillance system most people don't even realize exists.
I'll get 2 more Corys done, man, and get them on.
Right, I'm going to be very clear from the start of this rule. Anyone pushing a digital ID is wanting to control you. They want mass government oversight of your life. And if you think that's an exaggeration...
Is that better? Can you guys still hear that? It's a little bit
Loud from where I am. I don't need it to be that loud. I like just to listen to my stories.
and do my artwork. That's normal for me. I just listen to stories.
Illegal immigrants don't have any of that. They work cash in hand, so a digital ID is useless.
Have you eaten today? Did you have something to eat today? No, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll see what happens,
This
mate.
is all set up. It has
To be honest.
They create the crisis and then they sell you the solution. More control, less freedom, and a digital ID.
I had a meat pie last night. I had a meat pie.
Down for you so everyone can understand. Instead of having separate documents like driver's license, passport, Medicare, and bank accounts, well, everything is tied to a centralized profile. It's your new key to life. And look, that sounds convenient, but here's the danger. Once that system becomes a single gateway, it connects you to everything that you rely on, right? It'll be linked to your bank account so you can't get paid or buy goods. And
I'll check later, man. I'll go down to the supermarket.
there's no fallback, no
Get some
cash,
chicken
no way to
wings.
transact outside the system.
And flour. I need some flour
Effectively locked out the entire system, right?
to do them.
Your healthcare so you
I got some oil.
or fill out a prescription.
I got to last
Transport,
3 more days.
cabs,
A little bit of paper,
you'll be connected to
but nothing to go bragging about. Just enough.
But the bills will get paid. My bills get paid. The rent gets paid. That's the most important thing. You know, just keep a roof over my head. And after that, I'll worry about, you know, a packet of cigarettes or, yeah.
Now, let me explain that to you. If you don't comply with the new vaccine mandate, bang, no flights, no bus, no car rego, no food. Criticise the government online, bang, your bank account and your MyGov just got completely locked. Refuse their lab-grown meat, bang. Woolies declines your steak, but they let the lab-grown meat go through. If you prefer petrol cars over electric, bang. The servo cuts you off after you hit your fuel quota for the month, right? They'll work that into your personal carbon footprint and climate change. See where this is going. And if you question their climate policy, bang. Your power is throttled, your lights go out when you hit your carbon limit. That's not convenience for anyone. That's complete government control. And this isn't some wild theory. It's already happening over in China. If you criticise the government, you get banned from flights and trains. If you get blacklisted, well then employers won't hire you and your name goes up for public shaming. And in this system, well, no one needs arresting. The system itself enforces compliance. If you step out of line, then you're digitally erased from life. So when Starmer or Albanese or any other leader tells you that digital ID is about convenience and safety, remember this, it's got nothing to do with that. It's about complete and utter control. Because once digital ID is in place, your freedoms isn't your freedoms anymore. It's all theirs, and at the click of a finger, they can take it all away. What's your thoughts?
A little bit of peace, boys.
Final notice, your account balance is below 500. You need 50 credits by the end of the day to avoid automatic eviction. If you have missed work due to illness, you must provide a doctor's
the end of this parliament.
Mandatory.
We spell that out. You will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have digital ID.
This is what's on way
It's
here.
as simple as that. Yeah. What
They'll do
we're
the same
seeing
here, buddy, and all over the world if they can.
is what I call turnkey totalitarianism. They are putting in place all of these technological mechanisms for control we've never seen before. It's been the ambition of every totalitarian state from the beginning of mankind to control every aspect of behavior, of conduct, of thought, and to obliterate dissent. None of them have been able to do it. They didn't have the technological capacity. Today, the mechanisms are being put in place that will make it so none of us can run and none of us can hide. Within 5 years, we're going to see 415,000 low-orbit satellites. Bill Gates and his 65,000 satellites alone will be able to look at every square inch of the planet 24 hours a day. Digital currency that will allow them to punish us from a distance and cut off our food supply. Every right that you have is transformed into a privilege contingent upon your obedience to arbitrary government dictates. It will make you a slave.
Right now, Australia has a delegation. They either just came back or they're going to China to learn digital ID. That's why they're there, to learn how to implement it, and apparently China are helping Australia implement their digital ID. So they are taking straight from the communist thing, manifesto, communist country, the same rules, the same implementation, everything, and here we are in a Western, democratic society, rah-rah. But they will bring in the same communist fucking rules over here, mate. Okay, the same fines, the same thing as China has, and they'll have that in Australia. For your own safety, for my safety. I think it's the end of next month, mate, and you need a full digital ID just to get on the internet. You can't get on the internet, mate, without it. They'll cut you off. They'll give you a certain amount of time to do it, and then that's it. They won't. Your thing will get cut off. Okay.
It just encourages them to new forms of torture and torment. Every time you say yes, you're getting pushed back to a weaker position. That's why we need to resist today. I am announcing this government will make a new free of charge digital ID mandatory.
A good score brings benefits, but people with low scores lose rights. The cinema names and shames people considered untrustworthy, plastering their details, even their addresses, across big screens. It's a matter of principle. Those people have to be condemned. Those people aren't honest, so they have to pay the price.
It's only right to pay your debts. You have to blacklist those that don't.
The Supreme Court has created a blacklist for so-called bad citizens, those whose ratings have dropped to zero. On it are companies, but also 23 million people to date. Among them is this journalist Liu Hu. He got a little too close to uncovering corruption among high-profile party members. After being sued for defamation by the subject of a story he'd written, he was blacklisted. He only realised when he tried to buy a train ticket and was told he was banned from travelling.
This is the future.
That tells me I'm still on the blacklist.
This is the future.
Because he's been branded untrustworthy by the state.
Once you're blacklisted, you can no longer get a bank loan, start a business, buy an apartment, or even send your children to a private school.
Liu Hu is among a tiny minority of people who have dared to criticise the system, which some are calling a digital dictatorship.
I worry because I think many people like me will be deprived of independence.
You hear that, boys? Oh, misinformation. Oh, cyber harassment. Oh, nasty. Social coexistence, you know, social cohesion. You'll hear these words a lot. This is straight out of China. Those words are Chinese. The commies, mate. The commies are coming, mate. You know, a good dose of the communist fucking rules, bro. I remember I was reported, mate, because of the things I was watching on the YouTube. So it actually went up and reported me. It reported me, man, for watching YouTube videos. It reported me. How's that for betrayal? How's that for, you know, absolute, you know what I mean? Like, how could you ever trust anybody that does that? Anybody. How, you know what I mean? They go right behind your back, mate. And then they come back and tell you, you know? And then I have to remind the person, yeah, we're not living in fucking, you know, we don't get into trouble in Australia for watching a YouTube video. Okay, as soon as you said a YouTube video, they wouldn't have been listening to you. Fucking YouTube video. But yeah, man, yeah, they'll report you. They report each other. They put each other in, mate, over there. Over there is no loyalty between family or it's your girlfriend or whatever. You know, mate, if you say something wrong against the regime, yeah, she's the one that's going to go up there and report you. Your own fucking girlfriend, mate. And that was early, mate. Yeah, a huge red flag, mate. Just a massive red flag. Just a big red flag. You know, that's when I really started to wake up and say, hang on a minute. Like, hang on a minute. Fucking, oh my God, Father. Like, what did you do that for? Like, are you kidding me? Oh, well, I don't like this and I don't like that. I said, but we don't. I said, what were you expecting them to do? I said, in your country, what would happen? I said, are you kidding me? In your country, they would come and get the person and re-educate them, right? I said, and that's what you're expecting to happen here? So, but thank God I don't live there, because you would have just had me done. You would have just had me done, okay? Like, fuck. Yeah, man. Scary. Scary, brother.
Well, England's just submitted to it. They just submitted to digital ID. Oh, yeah. Yeah, these motherfuckers are pushing digital ID on these people. And once they do digital ID, they're going to attach to a
in Vietnam, they did digital ID, right? Vietnam, and they cancelled 83 million bank accounts. They cancelled them. Funds gone
Because those people didn't get digital ID. They closed their bank account.
Russia was like 400 last year. The UK is 12,000. Any criticism of immigration, any criticism of grooming gangs and people being raped, any talk about how horrible this is, they come visit you. It's like someone's trying to destroy England. It's literally like they've got a concerted effort to destroy England, and they're getting away with it.
England's fucked.
What happens over there is really
England's
crazy.
gone.
It's really crazy to watch. Because
have just implemented social cohesion task force. Look it up. Yeah. I think that's where I got it from, man. Social cohesion. I said that. The Chinese are here teaching them.
Teaching the Australians. all about their digital ID, social, yeah, that's part of it, social cohesion. So now they can get you on charges of social cohesion. So you've got to obey what everybody else does, because if you don't, then that's not social cohesion.
So they self-censor. So you don't even, you're hitting them with, like, this one guy who complained about, there's a famous video where this fucking idiot in a wig, he's one of them judges, and they wear the wigs, the white powdered wigs, and he's sentencing this guy for 20 months for social media posts that are normal. Like, normal complaints about mass immigration of illegals from other countries that aren't assimilating and that they believe are
Australia just bring back all the ISIS brides too.
And that's what online discourse is supposed
You
to be
know,
about.
our disgusting fucking government, mate. Like, that's as communist as you can fucking get, bro. Bringing these ISIS brides back to Australia. Okay? They've married people over there that have done horrific things, mate, and they didn't mind. They left the country here to go over there to marry them, to give them children. Right? And here we are, mate. We've imported them all. We've brought them back to Australia. And every single one of those will be on government thing, mate, forever, for their entire life. They will never, ever have a fucking job, ever. Okay?
So now we're paying for their children and paying for them to live in Australia. And they'll get free housing, free everything, mate, when they get here. They'll get all that for free. So they would have brought them over, give them a payment, mate, gave them a passport. The government said in their thing, man, they never did anything. They'd never bring any over. They completely lied. They absolutely lied. And it turns out, mate, they did give them. They gave them passports. So how could you not know about it if they've given them a passport? So,
and they've bring them all back, mate, all those ISIS brides that were over in the camp over there, where they fucking belong, mate. That's where they belong. Okay.
But yeah, mate, you go 10 k's over the speed limit, and the fucking cops will be at your door. The cops will be fucking knocking at your door, mate,
if you're 10 k's over the speed limit. But they're allowed to bring over ISIS brides, mate, that have done shit against Australia, against our own soldiers, and it's not a problem.
England and Ireland and all that are destroyed. They're gone, mate. You know, and I never thought there was
anything more past a phase 10. I thought phase 10 was it, you know, like they control everything. They've got their own laws now, Sharia, because they all bring in Sharia. That's what they want.
But there's actually a phase 11. There's a phase 11, bro. I've only just twigged to it this week.
The phase 11 is when they're walking around in a pact with armed, and they're openly shooting everybody else that doesn't agree with them. And that's phase 11, because we have that happening now over in some fucking country over there with the spear chuckers.
And they're all Christian, and like there's 4,000 of them that have been massacred. The entire village massacred
by the extremists, because they've come in, they're armed. You know, you don't want to agree with them. Bang, 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 bang. They annihilate everybody. So there's a phase 11
where they're in total and utter control to the point where they're walking around wiping out anybody that isn't part of their ideology.
So it's a really big range, isn't it? You go from phase 1, really friendly, nice, to where we are now, phase 3 in Australia,
all the way to phase 10, which is England, Ireland, and Europe. That's phase 10. And then you get to phase 11. There's such a huge variety and build-up to get to phase 11. Okay? There's a big... And you won't get a phase 3 to admit anything about phase 11
or phase 10. You won't get them to admit anything. Nothing.
And all you got to do, mate, to nail a phase 3 in Australia is to say to them, would you prefer Sharia or would you prefer the laws you live under now?
And they have to agree to Sharia. They have to.
Okay? So they can pretend all they want, but in reality, they want Sharia.
And this is what it will be like.
I've just logged in using my Brit card, and it's saying I've already
They will take control, man.
UK for people to sign for those who don't want this digital ID, and 2.8 million people have already signed it, but it looks like the government will simply ignore this. I want to make people aware of this because it's important to be aware. This isn't a political channel. I know that there are people who aren't interested in the political side of things, but this is something that's going to affect everyone. And we certainly shouldn't be unaware of the schemes of the enemy as he operates in this
We
world.
got the commies on one side, mate, and the muzzies on the other.
We got the commies on one side and the muzzies on the other, bro. That's what we got.
People that will be deceived. And this isn't the mark of the beast or anything like that, but what I'm saying is that as Christians, we want to be in the mindset where we can see what's going on, we can see through these deceptions, and that we can make decisions based on correct thinking. So regardless of where things go or where things don't go, we have a purpose to live out here on the earth, and we're called to live that out. And our hope is not in the governments, it's not in this world, it's in God. And no matter what happens on this earth, that doesn't change. So what I would say is be aware of what's going on, do what you can, but in the meantime, focus on living faithfully for God, putting your trust in Him. And
Starting December 27, Australians will now need to upload their ID every time they're logged in to do an internet search. Google, Bing, it sounds scary, right? And you might not even know it was introduced. It's all part of a new age verification code, and it's been put in place to stop kids engaging with adult content, but it actually affects all of us, teenagers, retirees. Every time you want to do a Google search and you're logged in, you'll either have to provide your ID, it'll link to your digital ID, or you'll use something like facial recognition. It's going to affect us all, and it's a really big change. What are your thoughts on it?
State government is about to launch a new form of digital ID that means you'll never have to hand over your personal details to anyone again. It will all be stored in the Service New South Wales app on your phone, which will prove you are who you say you are.
Scanning his licence, passport and Medicare card, in less than 3 minutes, the minister proves he really is Victor Dominello.
This is unquestionably the Holy Grail.
This is your first look at the state.
So you got to provide your birth certificate, your driver's license, your Medicare. You got to provide 100 points of ID in order to get the digital ID. Like fuck it, and they're telling you that it's safer. Like, mate, how backwards is that? You've got to provide all of this ID in order to get digital ID, and you've already got all of this ID. You've already got it all, mate. Look at, just give us all your ID and we'll give you that one ring to rule all others. So you've got to have a digital ID that rules all the other ID, and I can guarantee you, man, they're going to ask you for your driver's license. I can fucking guarantee, man, after you've got the digital ID, wherever you go, they're still going to ask you for your driver's license, mate. They're still going to ask you. It won't excuse you from anything, man. It won't make your life any easier or whatever. They are still going to ask you for your driver's license, okay? Even after you've got your digital ID, that's what I'm saying. You've got your digital ID, rah-rah, you're there doing something or whatever, they're still going to ask you for your ID, for your driver's license. You watch. They will still. It still won't be enough. So now we're heading into some really dark, dark times. So the 27th of December is when that comes in, the 27th of December. That's when it'll all change. It'll all change.
The Service New South Wales app on your phone, which will prove you are who you say.
You'll prove. So all this time, you can't, isn't that just, all of this time you can't prove who you are because you've got a MyGov account, right? You got a MyGov account and you can't prove who you are. Are you fucking kidding me? So, without that,
ID doesn't care who holds the reins, only that you obey. Overnight, the laws change. What was once freedom becomes a fence. A prayer, a pint, a post online. All filtered through the new moral code. Step out of line, your ID stops working. No access to work, no travel, no medical care. You simply don't exist. The truth is this. It's never about the religion, it's about control. Once identity goes digital, the gatekeeper decides what's right and wrong.
Yep.
Today it's convenience, tomorrow it's compliance.
Yep.
And by the time you realize it, you're not living free, you're living approved. So ask yourself, when the new system arrives, what will you do?
Hey guys, so for those who haven't signed up for the digital ID for their companies yet, and are struggling to find ways around it, all you have to do is call up ASIC and ask that they generate those invoices and email them to you directly. Someone I know recently called up ASIC and said that they're no longer receiving the invoices to their email. The woman responded and she said, "Oh, you're supposed to access that through the portal." And he said, "Yeah, I went on there and it was asking me for my facial ID." He goes, "I don't want to subscribe to that. With what the government has done these last 3 years, and they're now trying to push this social credit system and facial recognition, I don't want to have anything to do with that. Can't you just generate the invoices and send them to me directly?" And she said, "Yeah, no problem. I'll do that for you now." So that really goes to show how it's not a law. And if it was a law, she would have said, "No, we can't do that for you. We're not allowed to." But the fact that she said, "Yeah, no worries, I'll just email them to you," it goes to show that this is all just scare tactics, like we saw the last 3 years, all these COVID fines, now that they're retracting all of them. It's just all to scare you into consenting and complying.
Imagine this, the UK finally rolls out digital ID. Every move you make, logged. Every penny you spend, tracked. Every opinion you speak, recorded.
Fuck.
The system shifts. Islam takes power. Different beliefs, different rules, same database. The digital ID doesn't care who holds the reins, only that you obey. Overnight, the laws change. What was once freedom becomes offense. A prayer, a pint, a post online. All filtered through the new moral code. Step out of line, your ID stops working. No access to work, no travel, no medical care. You simply don't exist.
Yep.
The truth is this. It's never about the religion, it's about control. Once identity goes digital, the gatekeeper decides what's right and wrong.
Australia is pushing digital ID and digital currency. Most people think it's already law and we have no choice. That's false. Here are their own facts. In October 2023, the federal government introduced the Digital ID Bill 2023. Clause 17 of that bill states, "A person's digital ID record must not be created or used without the person's express consent." That is the law on the table today. No consent and no digital ID. The Privacy Act 1988, CTH. Section 6A repeats the rule. A Commonwealth agency cannot collect or use your personal information without your consent or a specific law. There is no law right now that makes digital ID compulsory. The Reserve Bank of Australia ran a central bank digital currency pilot called the EAUD during 2022 and 2023 with ANZ, CBA, NAB, Westpac, and Tech Partners. In its August 2023 final report, the RBA itself wrote, "There are no current plans to issue a retail CBDC. In plain English, no one in Australia is being forced to use digital currency, and Parliament would have to pass a new act to make it real or mandatory. The Australian Constitution, Section 51 Tau, gives the Commonwealth power over currency, coinage, and legal tender. It does not authorize a compulsory digital identity system. Any law that tries to force it without a referendum can be challenged. In the High Court is unconstitutional. Australia is also bound by Article 17 of the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, which says, no one shall be subjected to arbitrary or unlawful interference with his privacy. A compulsory national tracking system without free, prior and informed consent would breach that treaty. Now, how do you fight back lawfully? Know your rights. Digital ID is voluntary. Do not give express consent. Put it in writing. I do not consent to digital ID enrollment. Keep a copy. Demand the statutory basis. Before handing over data or enrolling in a scheme, ask for the specific act and section that makes it compulsory. If they can't show it, they have no authority. Use freedom of information to obtain rollout contracts, pilot results, and private sector agreements. Sunlight breaks secrecy. Build and use parallel systems. Co-ops, local credit unions, community trade networks, cash transactions. The law does not stop you from using alternatives. Push for an actual referendum. Any fundamental Hey there and welcome to the Eco Renegade. So, Vietnam has closed 86 million bank accounts. They have frozen them, seized the assets, but they've closed the accounts. And that's 43% of all the accounts. There's around 200 million in Vietnam. Really? And the quote that they give is, prevent fraud and cybercrime. It's always in your best interest, except when it isn't. Can you imagine that number, 86 million? How many millions of people and families that have actually gone into serious, serious trouble because they can't access their account? Either because they refused or couldn't give, what's it called, the digital ID. That's what they wanted. You had to register a digital ID with biometric data. Give more of your privacy away without your choice. And if you don't do it, we'll take your money, whether you like it or not. That sounds very similar to what they used to do with the banks. I cannot quite remember the name of them, but you know, they'd go in, take money without permission. I thought that was illegal, but obviously not if you're a government. And the Canadian government has already shown us how to do this, because they closed the accounts of the truckers because of a peaceful protest. How the people that authorise that are not in jail serving long sentences, well, is anybody's guess. But the serious point here is, it's coming here. They're pushing for digital IDs. And what's going to be the pushback? When is it going to stop? We had it during COVID. Oh, just get one vaccination and you'll be fine. And then they took away your permissions after you got your vaccine and said, no, actually you need another one, and then another one. The point is, these type of people, they keep on taking more and more. The more we give away our freedom, our power, the more they'll...
Look guys, I've been warning you about this for a few weeks. First it was you'll need digital ID to get a job to stop illegal migration, a lie. Now it's your money, your kids' school and your everyday life, all tied into a government-controlled ID system. A system, by the way, that the UN targets for its 2030 plan. You will own nothing and be happy. And the WF state should be an aim for every single human on the planet. And just as Labour quietly pulls the plug on a spying trial so that it collapses, so that they can keep things cosy with China, the China-Britain Business Council has set up working groups focused on this digital economy, data utilisation, regulation and governance. Yes, your future ID system is being workshopped with China. Could it get any worse, guys? When Starmer smiles about this brave new world, remember what digital ID really means. They will track what you buy, where you go, what you say, and if they don't like it, it might sound far-fetched, but they will switch you off. Call me a conspiracy theorist again.
Everywhere she goes, Ouyang Haoyu is followed. What she buys, how she behaves, is tracked and scored to show how responsible and trustworthy she is. It's called the social credit system, and in one version now being tested, a person's reputation is scored on a scale of 350 to 950. And Haoyu, with a good score of 752, is okay with it. In fact, most people are.
Is a mechanism like pushes you to become a better citizen?
It's big data meets big
Imagine
work.
that. Imagine living like this. And you have no choice. And you tell yourself, yeah, it's okay, I've only got this score and I can do okay. And
You know, you self-regulate so that your score doesn't go down.
Are people bothered by privacy concerns?
We think the lack of camera keep the safety is really good. We can accept it.
Companies are experimenting with the algorithms to help the government create the new national social credit system. The government also has pilot projects. In one, citizens are required to do hours of unpaid work to get benefits. And scores are docked for things like littering, a messy yard, gossip, even jaywalking. Video of offenders is shown on the local news. And information collectors like Zhou Aini are paid to report on their neighbors. Her quota, 10 entries a month.
Fuck, imagine that. You live in their job to report everybody.
Good social credit gets rewarded with perks,
Far
pension
out.
loans, and travel deals. But a bad score means public shame, and worse.
Like it's your job to write down anything that they step out of line with. And you've got to come up with 10 of those a month.
And the list goes on. Being discredited makes it hard to get a job or put kids
Gosh,
in top
boys,
schools.
imagine that.
The social credit system will go nationwide next year, and few here are willing to
That's why it didn't bat an eyelid, mate, going down and reporting me. It didn't bat an eyelid. Never even thought about it, right? It's just normal in their lives, mate, to report you to the thing.
Digital ID, going to be choice or forced? It's going to be a choice, Matthew. You know it's voluntary, but you also have to decide.
What we're seeing right now is that the play out of what they're intending, what they have always intended. I did a video about this in a few videos ago about 1984 and George Orwell. The fact that it's all predictive planning, it's all predictive programming. What we're seeing being played out is their scramble, because they know they have already gone, they have already lost. The beginning of the pandemic, I was told that they would fall at the last hurdle. So that means that they will try and implement as much as they can, but they won't actually get there because they will fail. They have already seen this. There is something called the looking glass. It's a type of tool that the military can use, and it's almost a way of seeing the future, because they know things that we don't know. We have no idea that these things exist, but an actual military did a video about this. I'll have to try and see if I can find a video. It's probably gone taken down by now. But he was saying basically they looked in this looking glass and they just saw black. Their timeline had been cancelled. They have to respect divine law, okay, which is the law of free will. They have actually crossed divine law. They have gone against it. And when it goes against divine law, they're out. So what you're seeing being played out is almost like their past lower intentions. We really have to make an effort, and I know this can be really hard for some people, but rise above that as if you're looking down on an old timeline that was playing out. Okay? We have to rise above.
Keir Starmer just accidentally admitted that the digital IDs are going to be used to monitor your finances on top of what they originally said would solely be for identification and convenience purposes. Take a look.
In relation to digital ID access services, particularly financial services, is something that was recognised in our discussions yesterday. It means that you can access your own money, make payments so much more easily.
I called it. I literally called it. I just didn't think he'd say it as soon as he did. I was called a conspiracy theorist, and I was told that would never happen by, and I'm sorry to say, ignorant and arrogant fools. Oh, the digital ID will make our lives better, they said. Meanwhile, Keir Starmer just said they'll allow you to, quote, access your own money and make payments. We can do that already. The only difference is now the government will be able to control what we spend our money on, because our bank accounts will be linked to a centralised database that they control. Starmer could wake up one day and decide that we're consuming too much protein, and then our digital IDs would only allow us to make purchases of 1 kilogram of meat per month. Don't get me wrong, that's an extreme example, but this is literally where we're heading. It's right in front of our eyes. This man is explicitly teasing it, and somehow some people still don't see it. So I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Digital IDs are the framework for totalitarian control in the future. And if we surrender to them out of fear of our jobs, we will never escape the filthy clutch of the corrupt governmental system. So drop a follow to stay updated, and for now the question is, will you be bullied into having a digital ID?
Can I see your digital ID to check your daily sugar limit?
I don't have a digital ID.
I'll have to call the police.
Smith, you stand charged of exceeding your daily sugar limit and failing to present your digital ID when requested. This court finds you guilty. 50 years imprisonment.
No, wait, it was just a glass of Coke. I'm sorry, please, it was just one glass.
Sorry, we don't accept payment tickets, brick card only, I'm afraid.
It's all I've got. I paid for it.
Rules are rules, love.
Please, it's just to the clinic.
You'll need to step off the bus. Easy does it.
Please, I need to get
Fine
there,
step.
please.
It just said decline.
Yeah, it says you've gone over your weekly needs allowance.
I only fancied a steak for dinner. I've not bought that much this week.
I'm afraid the system's strict, it won't let me put it through.
You're joking.
Wait, stop, please.
You're hurting me.
The Australian people have spoken on Labor's dystopian digital ID legislation and firmly rejected it. I want to express my thanks and admiration for those Australians standing for their privacy rights and the individual freedoms that
Pretty
this
long,
legislation seeks to undermine. We know the former coalition government spent about $600 million preparing for the national ID system. Shame. We know Labor has allocated another $288 million in the budget. We know this bill was rushed through the Senate with no debate and no scrutiny. We can safely predict it will sail through the House of Representatives.
All right, man, I'm going to continue doing my thing. I've got to make another fucking 12 more. I need 18. I need 18 of these today. So I'll try and get just sitting doing dreads, mate, all day. That's my job for the next hour or so, is to get these dreads smashed out, mate. Enjoy your day, stay out of trouble, and I hope you have a good one, and I hope you have someone in your life that loves you, okay? And take care. If you'd like to send a blessing, I would appreciate you. To send a blessing today is lorddobbyking@gmail.com is my PayPal to send a blessing. Other than that, give us a like if you can. Like the stream, that would be nice of you. And take care always, okay? Take care, boys and girls.